Hello everyone! I feel like it has been so long since we filmed the True Faces video, and this one's a little bit different. I did a poll on Instagram a while back when I first won my title and asked if people wanted to hear about my journey as a person with a disability in the pageant industry, and a good chunk of people were like yes, so I don't know if people are gonna watch this, but stick around, promise. I'm gonna tell some stories and a little bit about my experience and how I became Miss Teen Personality Ontario 2021. So let's go. Okay, so as I mentioned, as you can see my fancy sash, I am Miss Teen Personality Ontario 2021. This is my first ever title that I've had and won. I'm gonna trip all over my words today, I just know it. But first, I want to take you back. We're gonna go to January 2019 when I competed in my first pageant. So in probably December of 2018, I saw an ad come across my Instagram feed and it said, "Be the next Miss Teenage Canada." And I was like, I think it was just the inner like child in me. You know, when people ask like, what do you want to be when you grow up? My answer was always legitimately, I wanted to be a princess. Like no cap. That was just what I always said. So I think my inner princess was like, this sounds very intriguing. So I signed up. I did an interview. I did a virtual interview and I passed my interview and they're like, yes, come to preliminaries. We're gonna go to Miss Teenage Ontario. I was like, okay, I've never done this before. And so I was graduating grade 12 that year, so I had a prom dress and I was like, we're gonna use this. And I went out and I even got a new swimsuit because I was like, this is like a big thing. This is a big thing. And I got really into it. I got like a necklace, earrings, like I was kind of going all out. The day before I was supposed to go to the pageant, my dad, it was in the middle of my exams. I had my exams and I got the flu. So to start off, this whole pageant experience was just like headed downhill really fast. Like I was like throwing up literally hours before I had to travel to Toronto to compete in preliminaries, and I was like exploding. I was crying. I was a hot mess. So I get to Toronto, I arrive, and I've already missed a day of like training, practice, whatever, for my first pageant, I might add. That's very important. I missed all of the practice stuff for how to participate in a pageant. And I showed up, everybody already knew each other. I might add, I missed the day for a funeral, so it was, and plus I had the flu, so like, it was already a hot mess. And I showed up and right away they're like, you're going to do your swimsuit walk. And I was like, I don't even know what this stage looks like. Again, I will remind you, I can't see. So the director pulled me in and we did one walk of the stage. I might add, one walk is not enough to make a blind girl feel confident not falling off a stage in 6-inch heels. So already, I'm so nervous, I'm freaking out. I don't feel comfortable in this environment at all. I did my swimsuit. I went and I did my interview. I did my interview to the best that I could. I think that was probably my strongest area for that one at least. And I still don't even think it was that good because I was so anxious and so overwhelmed with everything that was happening. And then we did the show. I had to learn a dance, and overall, it was the fastest 24 hours of my life. I remember standing there waiting to hear names get called for different title areas and nothing. I didn't get it. I did not qualify. That was it. And I went home and yes, I was sad, but I was also so relieved that it was over. I was like blessed that this experience is over, not because it wasn't fun in some sense. I got to meet a lot of great people and they were all very supportive of me even arriving like a day late and all that, but oh my god, I was like, thank goodness it's over. And I swear to you, I didn't think I was going to compete in another pageant ever again. So I think as a person with a disability, especially a visual impairment, the hardest part of it, an in-person pageant for me, was just the surroundings. It was busy, it was chaotic, there was tripping hazards all over the place. I didn't feel like I could walk confidently in that area. And I think that was a huge barrier for me looking back on that experience. Naturally, I didn't know that that was the case when I was there. I was just so overwhelmed that like I didn't even know what was happening. So now, pandemic times, I came across a post that was shared from a friend of mine on Instagram. Like I said, I had met a couple people within the pageant industry I still chat with or like keep up with some of them. I follow them, whatever. And one of them had shared that somebody was doing a virtual fundraiser pageant. And this was, I don't even know when this was, like right at the beginning of the pandemic, like June, July, like that sort of thing. Scratch that, I lied. It was June of 2021, so still in this year. This is all very recent, very new. And so I saw this ad and it was like, hey, we're doing a virtual fundraiser pageant. And it's all about like platform, personality, that sort of thing. And I was like, again, the inner princess in me was like, can I do this? So things that convinced me were it was a fundraiser. I was like, whatever. If I don't get anything out of it besides the experience, I've donated to a good cause. So I could validate it that way. It's virtual, so I realized that a lot of those in-person stress barriers would be gone. And it didn't have anything to do with a swimwear walk or an evening gown walk or a walk of any kind. It was purely based on photogenic interview and an essay. And so I was like, I can do this. I'm great at interviews. I love doing interviews. I talk so much, as you can probably already tell. So I did this pageant, and I had kind of said to myself, I knew that a couple other pageants were happening, and that maybe this would be a thing for me. So I kind of said to myself, I said, okay, if I kind of place or get like a runner-up or whatever, I'll do another one. But if I don't, I'll call it quits. I was like, if I don't, I got a good experience. I'll be done with this. I'll drop this, because it felt like something very out of character for me, especially for the people around me. They're like, I don't even think I told them. They're like, you're doing a pageant and crowning is tonight? And I was like, yeah. I also thought it was very helpful that I follow the pageant gal on Instagram, shout out to her, Miss Maria, and I'd actually won a 30-minute coaching session with her. So right before my interview for this virtual pageant, I had a 30-minute coaching session with her, and she told me a lot of great things. And so I think that really helped my interview. And surprisingly enough, I placed top 5. I placed top 5 in this first virtual pageant, and it was kind of like this little eye-opener to me. I was like, could I do this? I was like, could I do this if I really tried? And so when the next one came around, Miss Queen of the Screen, actually led by the pageant gal, I was like, okay, we're gonna do again. I placed top 5. That was twice now that I had placed top 5, and it was this very weird feeling, because I felt like I was so close to getting a title or like a first or second runner up and like prizes, that I was like, I can't stop now. I was like, you're so close. And I'm somebody who, like, when I put my mind to it, I'm very like, I will go get it. And I just felt like, I was like, I have to. I was like, I'm so close. I was like, we're just gonna keep trying, because it didn't feel right to me to get top 5 twice and then quit. Like that was not what I wanted. That's not why I was in it. So my good Sophia Leah posted that there is Personality Pageants Canada, and I was like, okay, Miss Teen Personality Canada, here we go, let's go. 4th runner-up, placed top 5 again, and best in interview. Now we had 2 things. Now my 3rd time placing top 5, now I had a best in interview. I was like, I've got to do this. Like, so close. Miss Teen Personality Regionals comes around. Okay, Emilee's so determined at this point. Nothing is stopping her. Nothing at all. She is committed to this. We're doing an outfit of choice walk. We're doing an interview. We're doing a platform speech. We're doing some social media challenges, all the things. Your new Miss Teen Personality Ontario 2021 is Emilee. And I got best in interview again, I might add. So now I've won a title, which is so exciting. I cried. I cried when I heard it, not even gonna lie, because I knew that I had done something that felt so good. And the reason that this one felt so good, the thing about why I was doing well in virtual pageants, is because as a person with disability, those barriers were gone. Everything felt accessible to me. Zoom interviews, I didn't have to worry about like eye contact and things that as a person with a visual impairment, I like genuinely struggle with. Or like trying to keep my eyes open, or worrying about being in a brightly lit setting where I can't see anything. And I can film videos beforehand in environments and spaces that work well for me. I did an outfit of choice walk and I used my cane in it because that was who I am. That is part of who I am. Maybe I'll insert a little video of it here. And I was filming intro videos that just purely related to who I am. My intro video, I let my dog sit on my lap and I let her bug me because things aren't perfect, and I did it in 100 different takes and I edited it together because I'm not perfect. I can't do things in one take. So I was able to do things in an environment that really allowed me to be me. And like I said, the virtual ones that I were doing were all personality pageants. So to break a little bit of stereotypes around pageants, a lot of people think pageants purely based on beauty pageants and this miscongeniality movie that everybody has seen 100 times. So that is not what I do. The first pageant that I competed in, yes, that was a beauty pageant. It had one interview component, but otherwise was based on a swimwear, an evening gown, walks, beauty, that sort of thing. Beauty pageants definitely still exist. They're not what I do. I compete in what are called personality pageants, and they are ones that, yeah, you may have a walk, an evening gown, or now they're transferring more to like fitness wear and those sorts of things. You may have a walk, but it's not judged based on how beautiful you are, how skinny you are, like those sorts of things. It's based on your confidence and how you walk and how you present yourself with grace and those sorts of aspects, instead of just like, oh wow, she's really skinny and really pretty. She's the next it. No, that's definitely not what I do. And I don't say that I don't support those pageants, but I definitely don't think I will be doing those ones again because they didn't make me feel great in a sense to say. So I was very excited to do these personality pageants because it was, hey, write an essay that tells me about you and answer interview questions that are about you. And most importantly, all of them have a platform aspect. And my platform, which is why I'm sharing this here, is True Faces. So disability advocacy for individuals with disabilities, but also specifically the blind and visually impaired community, and using my title to be able to spread awareness about people with visual impairments, and also proving that we can do anything. I think another one of the reasons that I continued to do pageants after the fact was because something that really bugged me is that there wasn't people with physical disabilities represented in the pageant industry. And it made me really sad because if you Google, which I did when I was looking into this, if you Google disability in pageantry, you're gonna find a list of pageants created specifically for people with disabilities. And now there's nothing really wrong with that, but the thing about that is that we're creating segregated pageant systems for a specific community instead of being able to integrate these people within the general pageant system. We're not being inclusive. We are still segregating the disability community and making them compete in pageants specifically for people in wheelchairs or whatever, because people feel like that evens the playing field. No, evening the playing field would be, let's allow people with wheelchairs to compete in our in-person pageant and be successful. And we have yet to see that. And the reason why this title meant so much to me, God, I'm gonna get a little emotional, was because I was the first person with a visual impairment who I'd seen in the pageant industry win a title. I don't know anybody else who represents this community in this space. I barely even know anybody with another physical disability in this space, which is devastating to me because what is this industry doing to lack our representation? Why Why do people with disabilities look at a pageant and are like, oh, that's not for me because I don't look like them, or I'm missing a limb and I won't win because the criteria isn't met for us. And that's what I liked about the personality pageants, is that it didn't matter. It didn't matter that I used my cane in a walk of choice video, because that represented who I was, and that's what it was about. And that's what was so genuine and great about it. Like I said, getting a little emotional because it did mean so much to me that somebody with a visual impairment was able to win a title, even if it is just a regional title. Next, we're going for the national title, I promise. But to be able to be a role model for maybe somebody else with a visual impairment or physical disability to look at and say, well, she did it, I can too. Versus me, who looked into this industry and was very uncertain about whether I could do it or not, because it hadn't been done before. I hadn't seen it done before. And so I didn't know if it was something that I was going to be able to do. And I feel like I probably doubted myself a lot in the beginning because of that, because there was no representation, that I really wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it. And I think it was just about finding the right system for me. Personality Pageants has been exceptional in that sense. But really just being able to find the right people to support me in this. But I still think there's so much growth that the pageant industry has. Like I said, pageants are moving more towards fitness wear and active wear instead of swimwear and things like that. But having people with disabilities being able to win titles without having to be in a segregated special space, I wish was the norm. I wish the criteria, the judging criteria, was set that way, that it didn't matter if you physically walked across the stage or if you rolled in your wheelchair, but you were just judged on the grace that you did it in, how you posed, how you smiled, how you felt, how confident did that person look. And I wish there was more of that. And some people ask me, they're like, oh, like, would you ever judge a pageant? And a part of me is like, I don't have nearly that much experience to do that yet. But a part of me is also like, eventually, because I would like to give people that even playing field and feel welcomed in a space where they can just be themselves. And that's what True Faces is as a whole. And that's how I bring my platform into pageantry, is that we just being ourselves, be true to you and be authentic, do something out of the norm, out of the box. Like I said, that's exactly what I did. I had an intro video with my dog on my lap because she needed attention, and I walked with my cane because that's what made me me. And that's what I took into this experience, and that is what I convey with my platform and in this pageant scene, and it has been amazing. I have met a lot of great people with great platforms and great advocacy initiatives who are so passionate about life, and like I said, being in the right system, the personality system for pageants, has like opened so many doors, because the people that I met when I did my first in-person beauty pageant was just not, I didn't connect with them as much. And so coming back into this space and being able to connect with people, like it's a whole nother world. I think I've made so many friends in the pandemic period who I've never met in person, but definitely through pageants has been one of them. So shout out to my other regional title holders for Quebec and Vancouver and Alberta. I love you all. You're so sweet. You make my heart warm. You all have amazing missions and platforms and are really doing great things. And I have really enjoyed being a part of this. And if you made it this long in this video, thank you for listening to my platform, my message, what I had to say. I know it was a lot. This portion of the video in itself is long enough, but I wanted to be able to share my experiences and maybe break some pageant stereotypes along the way, that you have to be this uptight, pretty blonde girl, because that's not always the case. And I really want to be able to work in a space that is going to allow more people to participate in pageants and build a pageant industry that is more inclusive, because let's be honest, right now it's not. While we may be like, oh look, one girl who's blind won a title, that's inclusivity, that's not nearly as much diversity as we need and want to see, but hoping to help advance this forward and move this in the right direction. It just means a lot for me. I've talked way too much, so I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I hope you all continue to follow along on my journey, and maybe next is a national title for us. I don't know. Who knows? I never know. I never know what's next for me. I have some spontaneity when it comes to just taking on initiatives and endeavors, but yes, thank you so much for watching, listening to my story, and helping us create change and being able to share my platform here on a space that is my platform. I'm sharing my platform on True Faces, which is my platform, which seems a little indicative of itself, but yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and continue to follow along for more.